Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Gregs coming to you in the morning of 8 February 2021. Time on deck 01:5200 hours. Yes, it's the wee hours of the morning. So I'm going to talk to you now about food prices. I have over the past over a year been telling you that food prices are going to dramatically shoot up. And if you've noticed over the past many months, indeed, food prices have been going up, and they've gone up quite a bit. If you've been going to the grocery store, you've been seeing this. Now, this has happened for a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons I had been citing were various difficulties of weather and climate changes, be it grand solar minimum, or some of you prefer to think about global warming. Either way, you're having changes, and those changes are driving up your prices. More than that, there are other factors that will be driving up your prices, and I did start mentioning in the spring and summer because of all the rains that just started falling in China, which just went all season long, non-stop, and the crop problems that we're having in China. I said China's going to be buying more food on the international market and driving prices up too. Well, guess what? All that's coming to pass. But the projections are that they will even buy more next year, regardless of the problems they had this past year, just because of systemic changes in the way China is growing things and doing business. You can expect their demand is going up. At least that's what the projections say. But you're not going to believe how much more they bought this year. Holy smoke. And they're projected to buy more next year. I'm going to go all into that. Holy smoke. It is a roller coaster in terms of what's coming at us price-wise. There are several factors that are going to be driving our prices up. So we're going to be talking about one. I just did a video talking about minimum wage going up. And as you know, that's going to drive prices up. Be that fair or not, whatever the case is, I'm just telling you that that's going to cause prices to go up. And there'll be two things driving it. One, there will be some farms shutting down. There will be some lack of availability, but mostly it's the brute cost that's going to be driving up prices up. But it's not just labor, it's also energy. Energy prices are going back up. They have been really low for the last few years. But if you've been to the pump lately, you notice it's going up, and there are projections because the new impetus to get rid of carbon-based fuels that it could go up quite a bit. Now, Greg, what's this got to do with the cost of my taters and beans? Well, a lot actually, because all these crops are harvested, or they're planted, harvested, the fields are cleared and everything using agricultural products. In a sense, really, we're eating oil. If you really get down to it, you're eating oil, petroleum, and fossil fuel products, because even the fertilizers are made from natural gas, and some people argue whether some of these are fossil fuel or not. I don't care. Carbon-based fuels. A lot of fertilizers are made for these things. The tractors run back and forth to till, prepare the land. You've got to plant, weed, harvest. They're using chemicals to weed right now. And a lot of those are largely, petrol in origin too. So then once you get the food harvested, you got to process it. Sometimes grains are dried, stored, and then you've got to ship it. And again, there's several other processing steps in line there. And you've got to make the final product, whether it be bread or whatever. They bake it or whatever they do. Well, they make flour, and then they make bread, and then they got to package it. And what is the packaging and the loaf of bread is plastic. What's that plastic made out of? Hydrocarbons. Yeah. And then they ship it, put it in the store. The store's got to maintain temperature. And then you go get it. Every step of the way, energy is used. Every step of the way, labor it goes into. Every step of the way, taxes go to it. Well, guess what? Labor, energy, and taxes can all be expected to go up. Taxes are debatable, but we've already seen energy going up. We know labor's going up. So in spite of all the other things that's been making food prices go up over this past year, we have several new components there. But moreover than that, you have other components driving food prices up, and that is the demand for food from other places, vis-a-vis mainly China. China is going to be the big driver in this. And then you got to just look at our overall challenges to growing. If you're getting late season rains, delaying your planting season, you're getting early season, sometimes frost and snow, inhibiting planting some years. That can really impact, and that's been going on quite a bit. Maybe more so a year before last, but we're moving into a solar maxima. Will it be weaker or stronger? It's up for debate. Very much up for debate. There's it looked like the projections were that our maximas were going down and even NASA was predicting that. But there is a team of scientists out who says the last maximum was so short that they're expecting this next one to be really intense, and they cite patterns for that, which could change the expectations for cosmic cloud nucleation, changing our albedo, and just how much reaches the ground. We do know with less planes flying around, the world has warmed up some. So that may have offset some of these things. So there you go. Many factors at play here. Many things can change the climate, but we do know this. When they have had grand solar minimums, the dynasties in China have not been very successful. We do know also they have had a miserable year for growing food this year. All right, so we're going to go into all that. But, listen, the fact that food prices are going up tells you some things. It tells you, one, you need to get prepared. You need to buy food in advance to store food. Go ahead and buy your dried beans and rice and store it. But also there's other long-term storage food that you need to consider just because of all the other plethora of things going on and the impetus to prep. I talked to you about tensions internationally, domestically. I talked to you about the possibility that our grid could go down. That's my placard from chairing 2 power grid defense conferences, which I have. I'll talk to you. That's one of the things I worry the most about, by the way, because there's so many root causes that can cause power grid to go down. All that said, you need to get ready. And I do have something to help you with that. We have 25 year long-term storage food supply. You can get this 20% off at prepwithgreg.com. You get 2,000 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The combination will make you a winner because the total price for these meals are working out something like 8.11 cents per meal, per day, per day for 3 meals. Hard to beat that. And you get real food. It's freeze dried, so it makes it a lot to carry. This is a 2-week supply, by the way, in a single bucket. You can get a single bucket and get 2 buckets of these supplies. And of course, you can order as many quantities of that as you want right now, but as an excellent deal. And I would not expect that deal to remain forever. When the price is going up, get it while the getting's good, if you can. Right now, I would prepare, stack them to the rafters if you can, as much as possible, because there's a lot of stuff that may be coming at us. But also, I advise you to get seeds. Go to True Leaf Market. Use my link to True Leaf Market because you need to grow as much of your own food as you possibly can. And watch my videos on wild foraging. Oh yeah, by the way, talking about my videos, wild foraging, gardening. Out of focus here. There we go. We're back. Hello. Talking about gardening. Bear in mind that I do a lot of videos on that in wild foraging. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, bang the notification bell, and click all so you can get all the notifications. Now we're going to go into some of the statistics for food and what's going on vis-a-vis our good friends in China, the People's Republic of China. So the people there are wonderful. The government, there's some people that might take issue with the idea that they're the best, most wonderful thing in the universe. I wouldn't know about to do that now, but we'll go on. We're a little off topic here. So, but anyway, according to the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture's most recent weekly export sales report, accumulated exports and undelivered sales of U.S. corn to China through the 14th of January for delivery in the year 2021 to 2020, for 2020 to 2021, which is this season. The marketing year total is 11,768,700 tons. Okay, so that's this season, 2020 to 2021. The marketing year total is 11,768,700 tons. Now that compares to the last season of 2019 to 2020, in which it was 60,000 tons. Quite a bit less. Well, listen, if you were to divide 60,000 into 11,768,700, you get 196.145. Yes. This year, they've ordered 196 times as much grain in the United States as they ordered last year, according to this report. And so this comes to us from the United States Department of Agriculture. And some of the totals come out. So they put all these weekly reports and bi-weekly reports. Actually, this report was a couple weeks old now. So, and they put out one report the 26th of January, which said that U.S. private exporters sold 1.36 million tons of corn to China just over that weekend. That's quite a bit. And this is, that is very, very, very significant. So they're actually projecting sales to go up next year, to go up significantly. I'm going to do some shares here. Hang on. I want to share some screens. Give me one momentum, please. Got to find my proper screen. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Here we go. Now this is from Successful Farming magazine, which took an article from Reuters. And expected record Chinese imports of corn and soybeans in the coming season will continue to absorb U.S. supplies and keep prices on an upward trend, according to the Chicago-based consultancy Ag Resource Company on Wednesday. Okay. Now this article is, I think January, is not. Let's see what's the date on here. I don't see the date. Okay, yeah, there's 27 January. So Chinese demand has fueled a rally in grain market in the past year and sparked a jump in U.S. corn futures on Tuesday, they said. And of course, I talked to you previously about the soybean orders. We talked about that. So they had a big order series back in November, and I'll show you one of the November articles here. And so they're just continue to pump here in late January here, and I can show you a February report also from just a couple days ago. It says China's already reported record soybean imports of 100 million tons for the 2020 calendar year. Where corn also increased the use by China to feed its pig herd. See, they don't even talk about the floods in here. They're talking about other systemic things that are driving demand in China. And now they're feeding the pig herd because, you know, they had killed a lot of the pigs. Now they're coming back, and Chinese love their pork. So Chinese corn imports could range between 25 million and 40 million tons in the coming years, you know, according to this article. I think we're seeing better than that, right? So talking about the trade deal here, I'm not going to go all into this, but I'm going to show you another article. This is from November. See, back in November, they said up 72%, you know, and then 180%. Well, now we know it's way beyond that. But this is back in November. So you can see the kind of numbers they were talking about there. Won't go into that too much. This article is, I find, kind of entertaining. This one's from the 5th of February. And this is another one from Successful Farmer. It's a more recent Successful Farmer article. After significant setbacks last week, corn has rushed back up to new heights. And talking about the prices per bushel. Don't say per bushel, that's what it means. And they believe $5.50 is some kind of resistance area, and so it's hitting that, so it might rally over $6 a bushel, they're thinking. That's a very bullish development, but the soybeans and wheat are not following corn's lead. At least they weren't yet, so they're asking about that. This is what I find interesting. Weather forecasts continue to suggest adversity in Argentina with below normal precip and above normal temperatures for the next 2 weeks, and will add to the stress there. However, there was mostly normal precip in Argentina in January. So before January is not, but then January kind of, it says this, which helped to alleviate some of the stress there. Brazil will have mostly normal precip and below normal temps. So good weather forecast there for the next 2 weeks. Overall, the SAM crops will be down in 2021 due to adverse weather drought. But the question of the day is, how much will it be down? Okay, but here is the funny part, the really funny part. Brazil is having trouble loading vessels with ships backing up at their ports. This typically has been a common appearance in Brazil. That's why shippers prefer to ship from the U.S., where people actually show up for work most days. It says, there are lots of problems with a socialist country. Well, you interpret that however you want to. This is what successful farmer, right? Oh Lord, some Chinese sales could switch back to U.S. sources due to shipping bottleneck, particularly as U.S. has the cheapest corn in the world. A late Brazil harvest could also increase U.S. Export demand. A cold blast of Arctic air in the central U.S. this weekend and next week, which is coming next week, could cause some problems in winter wheat, although most are still dormant. So what they're saying here is that most of the damage that's done to winter heat usually occurs in February and March, maybe early April. So they're not expecting, because it's still dormant, for it to really hit at this time. But, you know, so this is what we're talking about, guys. I won't have to go through all of this, but because we've already hit the gist of it. I just thought that was a funny thing there. By the way, if you go on my site and click on, go down to my show notes and in my pin notes and click on my link to Tree Leaf Market, it takes you here. You get great seeds. They have heirloom seeds. You can get garden seeds, microgreen seeds. You can get supplies to grow the microgreens. You get all kind of things that you might need, emergency storage. Okay, they got some of that too. So Tree Leaf Market is an excellent source for your seeds. They have a broad range of stuff you can grow indoors in your living room. I do videos on that on my channel. You can check that out too. And I show other videos on how to garden. Enough said of all that. So let me stop this share. Hello. All right, so I don't need to make this a long video. You just need to understand the food prices are going up. In fact, they're going ballistic, kind of like a rocket. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little fun. So, what do you expect from a rocket scientist, huh? Well, my rocket crashed. You know, I've seen a few of those happen lately, haven't we? That did not blow up. It's because it's fuel, is air. Not all that explosive, not unless you mix it with a whole lot of other fuel. So yeah, the oxidizer used as fuel though, right? All right, guys. So on a serious note, yeah, we can expect dramatic price increases. Dramatic price increases. That's why you got to get ready. You got to prepare yourself. Yeah, so they're just talking about, you know, the minimum wage going up. That would seem to help people, but I would expect that the prices are going to be going up with so many forcing factors, so much so that that's going to offset that for a lot of people. For a lot of people, that increased wage is not going to help them with the food, because I expect the food to go up quite a bit. I hope I'm wrong. Sometimes I really, really, really hope the heck I'm wrong on some of these things I'm projecting. And a lot of things, you know, a lot of times I come here and when I talk about something, I'm asking a question. I said, will it do this? Will it do that? You know, we need to think about it and get ready just in case. And a lot of people, you know, come back thinking I make declarative statements and say, well, that will happen. Well, I am telling you, food prices are going up. Now, that's one thing I made a declarative statement, and I've been right. The food prices have gone up, and I'm expecting them to go up more. And that's what they're already telling us in these projections. They're already saying it in these articles from multiple sources. And, you know, all you got to do is just look at the trend lines, look at demand, look at what's happening, look at the input source cost for producing this stuff. How do you get out of it going up? How do you get out of it? Yes, and what are you getting when you buy it fundamentally? What are you getting when you buy a lot of these things? That's why you need to grow as much of your own as you can. Wild forage when you can. But also, with the times coming at us, do consider the long-term storage for food. And that's where you come in getting in stuff like what I got. The cool thing about that stuff is that it comes in pouches you can open up and put in your backpack if you have to bug out. Makes it easy to carry. Good for camping too, by the way. All right, my friends. Enough said on all that. Just to know, I've been asked for a video on this. I've been had a few people say, "Great, there was a video about food prices." And there's other channels that cover this quite well too, but I brought in maybe a little different spin on a little different angle, and I tied it into some other things I've talked about here. And I showed you these articles, and I had another article I would have shown you, but I timed out on the use of that resource without paying a subscription. So that was the first one I was quoting from, but from the USDA. But it was another company reports on them. So my friends, with all that, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and keep an eye out for my future videos on these topics. Subscribe, bang that notification bell, and be safe above all else. Keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, because it's coming at us from every direction in the world. Just always know, Greg Allison will be here to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.